My name's Kerrie Atkins. I have 3 middle names, Kerrie, June, Hilda. Hilda was my grandmother's name and I was the last one in the line and I got it. I never used to admit to having Hilda because I didn't like it, but now I'm just so glad I've got my grandmother's name. When I was about probably a bit over 12 months, I remember my sister, she used to play the piano. She was 10 years older than me. And she picked me up and stood me on the keys and held my hand and walked me along the piano. And that stayed in here the rest of my life. It was such an amazing thing for me to do, to walk along the keys and hear the sounds coming out. But apparently I wouldn't sit still long enough. I was a very active kid and very sporty. So I didn't really get to sit and draw seriously till I was older. Yeah, my dear grandfather, Climo the Clown, he was called. And I used to go and watch him a lot when he was in circuses or when he was on the Tivoli. Horses in the circuses, I fell in love with them there. So beautiful. And wanted to be a bareback rider, just like the ones that I saw. It's combined everything, sort of athletic ability and tumbling, as well as being on a beautiful horse. So just everything I loved. Well, the love of animals has been very strong all throughout my life. And they've come to be quite prevalent in some of my paintings too. The special friend I had for a while was a couple of years ago, who appeared out of nowhere, and I didn't know what it was at first. It was a small little animal, a little baby dingo, and grew into a magnificent dingo and became part of our family. I'm glad I took some photographs of my dingo and was able to use them for paintings in the future. The surroundings here have been vital for me. It's such a beautiful place. I find the trees, the creek, the wildlife, the nature, the peace, the quiet of it all was very inducive to painting and to my artwork. My lovely studio down the back was just so beautiful, so cool, and so in the middle of nature, and I still miss it. And I was there for about 25 years working in that shed. And the creek was right beside, and still is. A beautiful creek full of wildlife and everything, and flooded. Flooded many times, and I got used to lifting things up out of the flood level until the biggest flood came in 2012, and everything was swept out. Walls, benches, cupboards, everything. Lots of paintings, lots of records, lots of photographs, lots of certificates and everything to do with my whole art history. And I was sitting up on the back of the house, and in the moonlight during this wild, it was like a cyclone here, I could see things floating out of my workshop on top of the raging floodwaters. It was a great place to work, and no one even knew I was here. No, it was beautiful. It was always something different, something happening there, and it was always smelled fresh and lovely to be here. And nature kind of accepted me being here every day and just went about their business. Well, what you said about having a style in that, I didn't realise that people know my work. It's a surprise to me, but I guess I understand now why, that I have been working a lot in a particular style or subject matter, and people get to know that. I don't really think too much about what other people may think about it, because it's something that comes from inside me, I suppose, and I can't afford to think about after and how people will view it, because that's irrelevant at the time. And it's always interesting to find out the reactions to your work and to see how people, and when people say good things, it's really encouraging and lovely to hear. It gives people a different way of looking at the world and takes them out of their everyday existence, I guess, and gives us all something else to relate to, and stimulates a lot of us to do something creative. And it's a nice feeling to know that there's all these things around and when I go, they'll still be here, which is wonderful. I guess all artists have that feeling. They're leaving behind things. And it's something that I did from an early age that's become now my life. And it wasn't planned that way, but it has happened that way, which is interesting, and I'm grateful that it has, because I wouldn't want to do anything else, really. And I'm very fortunate to now to be able to spend most of my time doing what I love doing.